Hare Krishna, Gurumush.
Hare Krishna, let's see.
You have a live kirtan band?
Do I have a live kirtan band here? We could do kirtan, huh?
No, not me.
Okay, Mukesh, you're the kirtan man.
Do you need more light? This light goes on.
No, I don't think so.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paripad Acharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Adanta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai Nam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kundu Radha Kunikiti Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Shamanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Go Premanande.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. We are beginning with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, Text 56.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Evam karmasu sangsakta kamatma vanchito buddha mahishi yad iheta tattadevan vavartata. Being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Puranjana came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen. Who would like to read?
Hello.
Okay.
When,
Rakesh.
when a living entity is in such bewilderment that he is under the control of his wife or material intelligence, he has to satisfy the intelligence of his so-called wife and act exactly according to her dictates. Various Shastras advise that for material convenience, one should keep his wife always satisfied by giving her ornaments and by following her instructions. In this way, there will be no trouble in family life. Therefore, for one's own social benefit, one is advised to keep his wife satisfied. In this way, when one becomes the servant of his wife, he must act according to the desires of his wife. Thus, one becomes more and more entangled. In Bengal, it is said that if one becomes an obedient servant of his wife, he loses all reputation. However, the difficulty is that unless one becomes a most obedient servant of his wife, family life becomes disturbed. In the Western countries, this disturbance gives rise to the divorce law, and in Eastern countries like India, there is separation. Now, this disturbance is confirmed by the new introduction of the divorce law in India. Within the heart, the mind is acting, thinking, feeling, and willing, and falling under the control of one's wife is the same as falling under the control of material intelligence. Thus, one begets children by his wife and becomes entangled in so many activities under the control of mental concoctions.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Meditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kodamai Hyam Dadhati Shapadantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Shadvajatam Sahagana Raganathan Vitam Stam Sahivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shahagana Lolita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deen Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Holi Priye Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhopyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the king Puranjana has entered the Antapur, the inner portion of the house, and he's associating with his wife and children, that is his materially affected intelligence and the various functions of the intelligence. Here, evam karmasu sangsakta. He was completely attached to fruitive activities, material activities for enjoyment, and different kinds of mental concoctions. So on the straight level of the narrative, he was engaged in material activities with his wife and children, and various kinds of material activities for enjoyment. And on the level where we unpack that, he's absorbed in using his intelligence materially. The intelligence can be engaged like that. It becomes material intelligence when it's busy for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Prabhupada gave the example that the cat is intelligent, sees some milk on the table, but it doesn't jump up and gets the milk to get the milk. It waits till you've gone out of the room, and then it jumps up and gets the milk. So the cat is intelligent, but that intelligence is material intelligence. So with material intelligence, one seizes upon various kinds of mental concoction. And one thinks, I can enjoy this way, I can enjoy that way. And then one employs one's intelligence in various programs, working, that's one program, and then enjoying. So then, Kamatma Vanchito, Kamatma, full of desires, lusty desires, Prabhupada says. He was cheated, and he was abhuta, less intelligent. Although he's fully engaged in the activities of trying to satisfy his intelligence in the form of his wife, he became unintelligent, abhuta. So Prabhupada presents a tattadevan vavartata. He was busy trying to satisfy the desires of his intelligence, but he became unintelligent. And Prabhupada explains the If you want to be happy with your wife, then you have to make her the boss. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes, why not? Oh, that's very nice. In so many ways, the wife is desiring this, desiring that, and one has to fulfill the desires of the wife. Yes, why don't we go here? Why don't we go there? And provide saris and bangles and so on. Then family life is very nice. The wife is happy. And so when the wife is happy, what is that? Happy wife, happy life. So the wife is happy, life is happy, but you're a servant of your wife. So that means you're degraded. Okay. Or the other way, that one is engaged very nicely in all sorts of mental concoctions and satisfying materially concocted desires.
What if the wife is a devotee?
I want to add to that.
Mhm.
How does the Krishna conscious Grihastha ashram, is the principle same here also? Like the husband has to satisfy.
Is the principle the same in Grihastha, Krishna conscious Grihastha ashram? Well, you're dealing with the same kind of living entities. We're still conditioned souls, and the wife is still a conditioned soul, although engaged in the business of advancement and transcending material life. Of course, I'm not the marriage counselor, but the more one can engage oneself and one's wife, or the more the devotee and his wife engage in Krishna conscious activities, devotional service directly, the less these other things are bound. But still, externally, the wife still wants nice clothing, nice bangles. The wife still wants this and that. It's not that because the wife has a spiritual name and she's chanting Hare Krishna, now all these other things have disappeared. Any more than they've disappeared for the husband. If they've disappeared, why is he getting married? If there's no longer any material desire, no longer any mental concoction for happiness, why is he getting married at all? So something is still there. And to that extent, we have to, number one, live a more complicated life. If I don't get married, I don't have to work. And my full time is free for devotional activities. As soon as I get married, then I have to think, where is money? Where is this? Where is that? And life becomes more complicated. And in so many other ways. But all of this becomes, can be dedicated to the service of Krishna. But still one has to deal with it. And there's a comment by Saraswati, which I can't read.
Saraswati Mataji writes, Pranams, Param Puja Gurudev, and all the Vaishnavas. Often the subtle bodies feel like separate conscious entities, so it becomes hard to know how to handle this and take back sustained control. How to overcome this?
Yeah, they are separate entities, the mind and intelligence. They're material elements. Of course, the material elements are energized by consciousness, but they act as if independent. That's the problem. The mind, bandhuratmatmanastasya, yenat maivatmana chittaha. Anatmanastu Shatrutve Vartyatatma Shatru. When the intelligence is under our control, it becomes our friend. Uncontrolled, our enemy. So it's our intelligence and so on, but it has to be controlled. Just like I have this material body, gross body, so it has to be controlled. Otherwise, it will cause problems. So they are, in one sense, separate entities. Just like my gross body is a separate entity, and it demands. I want this. I want that. I need this. I need that. So one has to regulate or control the gross body and the subtle body also. Therefore, the main thing is by chanting, by hearing, by remembering Krishna, serving Krishna in different ways. I hope that's all right. Gokula Devi.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, Hare Krishna devotees. And so, Maharaj, besides the regulation, is the solution perhaps that, or one of the solutions is that maybe the wife or the woman must marry up, or maybe there should be some sort of maturity gap, age gap to it.
Well, yes. First of all, the main thing is that there should be Krishna consciousness. Husband and wife should both be engaged in the service of Krishna. Otherwise, marry up or marry down, you're going to be down. So that's the first thing. But then, yes, materially speaking, the husband should be older. The husband should be in the superior position. If in terms of caste, if they're not of the same caste, the husband should be the Kshatriya. He should be a Kshatriya or a Brahmin. If she's a Vaishya, he should be a Vaishya or else a Kshatriya or a Brahmin. Shouldn't be the other way around. The husband should generally be in the superior position. If she comes from a highly qualified family, he should come from an equally qualified family, or still better. These are the general material recommendations. Prabhupada sometimes, when he wasn't involved directly in something, closely with some disciples, and they wanted to get married, and like the temple president or the couple themselves would send a letter asking for permission. Prabhupada I saw several letters where Prabhupada said, yes, if the boy is older, then they have my permission, like that. He wasn't, asking for astrological charts and all the ins and outs, but a general guideline that the boy should be older, because the man is supposed to be in the superior position. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Anything else? Okay. Kvachit pibantyam pibati madiram madavivdalaha ashnantyam kvachit ashnati drakshatyam sahadrakshati kvachit gayati gayantyam rudatyam rudati kvachit dasantyam hasati jolpantyam anujolpati kvachit tavati tavantyam tishtantyam anutishtati anushete shayanayam anvaste kvachidasatim kvachit shrinoti shrinvantyam pashyantyam anupashyati kvachit jigrantyam sprishantyam sprishati kvachit shojatim jayam anushojati dinavat Anurishati Rishyantyam Mudidam Anumodite. Someone like to read?
When the queen drank liquor, Puranjan engaged in drinking. When the queen died, King Puranjan used to chew on. Similarly, when the queen cried, he also cried. And when the queen laughed, he also laughed. When the queen talked loosely, he also talked loosely. And when the queen walked, the king walked behind her. When the queen would stand still, the king would also stand still. And when the queen would lie down in the bed, he would also follow and lie down with her. When the queen sat, he would also sit. And when the queen heard something, he would follow her to hear the same thing. When the queen saw something, the king would also look at it. And when the queen smelled something, the king would follow her to smell the same thing. When the queen touched something, the king would also touch it. When the dear queen was lamenting, the poor king also had to follow her in lamentation. In the same way, when the queen felt enjoyment, he also enjoyed. And when the queen was satisfied, the king also felt satisfaction.
Purports.
The mind is the place where the self is situated, and the mind is conducted by the intelligence. The living entity situated within the heart follows the intelligence. The intelligence is herein depicted as the queen, and the soul under mental control follows the material intelligence, just as the king follows his wife. The conclusion is that material intelligence is the cause of bondage for the living entity. The point is that one has to take to spiritual intelligence to come out of this entanglement. In the life of Maharaj Ambarisha, we find that the great Maharaj first engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. In this way, his intelligence became purified. Maharaj Ambarisha also used his other senses in the service of the Lord. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity in the temple, nicely decorated with flowers. He engaged his sense of smell by smelling the flowers, and he engaged his legs by walking to the temple. His hands were engaged in cleansing the temple, and his ears were engaged in hearing about Krishna. His tongue was engaged in two ways, in speaking about Krishna and in taking prasadam offered to the deity. Materialistic person who are under the full control of material intelligence cannot perform all these activities. Thus, consciously or unconsciously, they became entangled by the dictations of material intelligence. This fact is summarized in the following words.
So he's the living entity is following the materially polluted intelligence. The intelligence becomes attracted to the material nature, and then the one is busy. Intelligence is busy trying to obtain enjoyment from the material energy, and so the senses all become engaged. The intelligence is fixed on material enjoyment, and now the senses will be engaged. The cat now his legs and so on are engaged in jumping up onto the table, and his tongue is engaged in licking up the milk, and so on, because some ideas there. My camera's off. Okay, turn it on.
Guru Maharaj, sorry, I forgot to remind you. I turned it off because it was coming in choppy, so it made the audio better when he was reading.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll leave it off.
Well, it's better now, but I was monitoring it, so.
Okay, well, I'll leave it up to your control because my control isn't working anyway. Seems, unless it's. Oh, I see. Okay. If it gets bad, then turn it off again. So the senses are all engaged with the objects of the senses, and the intelligence is busy engaging them in different ways. And when one gets sense gratification, one thinks he's very smart. When one advances in material life, he thinks he's very smart. Intelligence becomes happy for the moment. Yes. The Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, these verses explain the conditioning imposed on the jiva. Jakshantyam means when she chewed, it is said, Prakrite kriyamanani gunaikarmani sarvasha. Ahankara vimutadma kartaham timanate. Person bewildered by pride thinks he is the doer of actions, being done completely by the senses made of Prakriti. So in this way, one is thinking that I'm intelligent, I did this, I did that, and one is taking pleasure in that. Or one is miserable because one thinks I messed up, I failed, I did this, I did that. But one is completely under the influence of the material nature represented by the senses and by the materially polluted intelligence. Intelligence, after all, is one of the elements of Prakriti. So he thinks, I'm very intelligent, I did this, I did that. Actually, it's all being done by material nature. And again, that comes to your question. She still acts like a woman, he still acts like a man, because they're conditioned. We have these material bodies, so we still act according to the dictates of nature. He still acts like a man, she still acts like a woman. He's still attracted to women, and so on. So the solution given here is Savai Krishna Padadavindaya Pachamsi Vaikuntha Gananavarnami. That one should, first of all, place one's mind at the lotus feet of Krishna, and then engage all the senses one after another in activities for the service of Krishna, as Maharaj Ambarish did. On the straightforward or the narrative version of the story, this is what happens in material life. The man becomes the servant of the wife. When she wants to do this, he wants to do that. When she wants to go to Paris, he wants to go to Paris. When she wants to do something, he wants to do something. Particularly when they're, it goes on like that. His goal, you hear a man say, he says to the woman, I just want to make you happy. Of course, it's himself that he wants to make happy, but he knows that to make himself happy, I have to make her happy. And to make her happy, he has to do what she wants. He has to fulfill her various desires. Especially she wants to think that she's getting her way. So the man becomes, as described, what is that? Yoshik Prita Mrigeshu. He becomes a dancing dog in the hands of the woman. And you see people doing foolish things just to get a smile from the woman. Yoshik Prita Mrigeshu becomes like a dancing dog. The camera is deliberately, the camera's on. At least over here it's shown to be on.
Camera's on. There's a comment unrelated to the camera from Saraswati Mataji. Saraswati Mataji, would you be able to take the chat and for the remainder and also read your comment?
Yes. So my question, Guru Maharaj, is, so the Mayavadis become attracted to the notion to end all activities, controls, emotions, and only then can he become a genuine supreme master?
Well, first they become attracted to oneness with Brahma. They become attracted to philosophical speculation. They become attracted to cultivating knowledge of the absolute truth, and so on. So there are activities in that regard. When Prakashananda Saraswati met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you dancing and singing in the company of these sentimentalists? This is not the business of a sannyasi. Sannyasi's business is to study Vedanta Sutra and the Vedanta Sutras and to cultivate knowledge of Brahma. So the Mayavadis have activities, but their activities are aimed at the impersonal absolute. It's not that they have no activities. Of course, in the ultimate issue, yes, no form, no qualities, no activities, and so on. But in the stage before perfection, then no, they're very serious about control of the mind, control of the senses. The Buddhists who are Mayavadis, they're very much interested in controlling the mind, making the mind still or making the mind empty, controlling the monkey mind. This is all very much part of Buddhism. So control is there, activities are there, but they're activities for merging with the absolute or activities for nirvana, freedom from personal existence. Emotions, yeah, they become dry because on the emotion is not very helpful in the Mayavad path. In the path of bhakti, there's emotion. The perfection is to have emotion in the form of love for Krishna, and to in that connection there'll be various ecstatic feelings and so on. And so that's all accepted on the bhakti path or appreciated on the bhakti path. But on the Mayavad path, why are you singing and dancing with these sentimentalists? This is just emotional stuff. This is not what we do in our sampradaya, our sannyasis. So the genuine spiritual master on the Mayavad path, no, he has to be controlled, certainly, and he has activities, but they're activities for impersonal self-realization. Yes.
Guru Maharaj, we have a question in the chat box from Murari Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Maharaj, usually the mind is emphasized as the main area of concern and control. Is it understood that the mind is intimately connected with the intelligence, so that's why is the focus here?
Well, two things come to mind. One is that mind can be used as sort of the English translation of mind, intelligence, and false ego altogether. So there's body and mind. So when we speak of the mind, it's not just the mana, but it includes buddhi, it includes ahankara also. So that's one thing. But then here, the mind is intimately connected with the intelligence. Is that why the intelligence is the focus here? The intelligence is intimately connected with the soul. That's the real thing. Aham Brahmasmi, I'm spirit soul, but I'm intimately connected with the intelligence, which is intimately connected with the modes of material nature. It's materially polluted intelligence. And that material intelligence is connected with the mind, which is the center of the senses. Manashastrānindriyāni, prakriti-sthani karshati. The mind is the center of the senses, and it's yes, receiving impressions from the various senses. The intelligence gets called into play to sort out the various sense impressions and to chalk out a path for the best enjoyment from all of this. But it's indicated here that the problem is that we're connected with the false ego, and the false ego is connected with the intelligence, the materially polluted intelligence. Intelligence used in the service of Krishna is a different thing, but used in the service of sense gratification and so on, then intelligence is also messed up. Then the intelligence misuses the senses. Anything else?
Nothing in the chat box.
Okay. Vipralabdho mahishyavam sarva prakriti vanchitaha neschan anukulotyagya klaibyat krida mrigovyata. In this way, King Puranjana was captivated by his nice wife and was thus cheated. Indeed, he became cheated in his whole existence in the material world. Even against that poor, foolish king's desire, he remained under the control of his wife, just like a pet animal that dances according to the order of its master.
The word Vipralabdha is very significant in this verse. Vi means specifically and Pralabdha means obtained. Just to satisfy his desires, the king got the queen, and thus he became cheated by material existence. Although he was not willing to do so, he remained a pet animal under the control of material intelligence. Just as a pet monkey dances according to the desire of its master, the king danced according to the desires of the queen. In Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.2, it is said, Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahur Vimukte. If one associates with a saintly person, a devotee, one's path of liberation becomes clear. But if one associates with a woman or with a person who is too much addicted to a woman, his path of bondage becomes completely clear. On the whole, for spiritual advancement, one must give up the company of women. This is what is meant by the order of sannyas, the renounced order. Before taking sannyas or completely renouncing the material world, one has to practice avoiding illicit sex. Sex life, licit or illicit, is practically the same, but through illicit sex, one becomes more and more captivated. By regulating one's sex life, there is a chance that one may eventually be able to renounce sex or renounce the association of women. If this can be done, advancement in spiritual life comes very easily.
Yeah. The Vipralabdha Mahiyashi, he obtained the queen, but she obtained him. My god brother Rupanuga Prabhu used to sometimes say that ladies' man means a man who's controlled by the ladies. We think that we're controlling, but she's controlling us. And one becomes, it's in this verse too, it's repeated, Yoshikrita, Yoshikrita Mriga, a plaything, toy dog in the hands of the woman. So on the whole, Prabhupada said, we're meant to get free from the association of women. This is the problem. Prabhupada said, man is good, woman is good, but together not good. So, yes.
His voice is from up.
Oh, the upstairs group. Okay. Man is good, woman is good, but together not good. So as far as possible, Vedic culture means getting free from the association of women. So brahmachari, vanaprastha, brahmachari, sannyas, no association. Vanaprastha, gradually loosening that association, getting free from that association. And grahastha, regulating that association. Because that association is troublesome and problematic for the person who wants to advance in spiritual life. Okay, continue.
How one becomes Catholic.
Sorry, we have a question in the chat box, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Practically, we see so many husbands and wives are frustrated with each other with daily arguments and differences of opinions, as well as high expectations from each other. So the kind of attachment discussed here, why we don't see many examples in the real world. Can we say this attachment is proportional to one's wealth?
No, the poor man can be insanely attached to his wife, or the wealthy man may be less attached. Of course, wealth, generally one is attached to wealth, woman, all of that. But even the poor man can be, well, I don't have much, but I have my wife. So he can be attached, very much so. So many arguments, and of course, there are different ways of looking at this. One is because people don't know how to live as husband and wife. They quarrel, get divorced. They get in so many entanglements that way. And their household or life becomes miserable because they're always arguing and always accusing and so on and so on. From another point of view, there's always disagreement in family life. Give me a package. And so one is advised that when there's quarrel between husband and wife, it should be treated like thunder in the morning. If there's thunder in the morning, then it won't rain. It's not to be taken seriously. Or else where it's said like two goats fighting. If two goats fighting is not a big contest. Who takes it as a very serious business. It doesn't appear on page 1 of the New York Times. It's not very significant business. So that's another thing. It just comes. There has to be some disagreement. As soon as there's two people, there has to be disagreement, but especially husband and wife, it's standard disagreement. Therefore, comes to tikshasva. One has to tolerate that also. If one wants to be happy in family life, one has to tolerate these kinds of disagreements. As its beginning and end. A third thing is that there's a certain taste to disagreements. in family life, the yes, in Rukmini and Krishna wanted to get a rise out of Rukmini, wanted to get her angry by some joking comments. That there's a kind of taste there. We create an argument with our husband, with our wife, and that becomes like a little drama that can be there also. Of course.
Yeah. Well,
It's transcendental for the ordinary person. Are there? Ordinary person is just two words, just part of the package that, yes, we by having some disagreements and then making up, or by joking with one another, having a sort of mock fight.
Was that at the farm or was that at the Goshala?
Okay.
And Maharaj,
so go forward.
I also recall in the pastime of Nalkuvar and Manigriv, when Narad Muni was asked them like they will become trees. Then and Shri Narad Muni also mentioned how when a lot of wealth is collected by a person, then it leads to enjoyment of women and wine.
Is fine?
Yes.
Women and wine.
Oh, wine.
Wine.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Really, one gets wealth, one gets pride, and now whatever I want, I just buy it. I want an electric this. I press the button and they send it to me. I want that. It's mine. I want to go to Bali or Fiji or Honolulu or Las Vegas. I just boom buy the ticket, or I tell someone, "You buy me this ticket, Miss Jones, book me on this." So, as a wealthy man, then whatever I want for sense gratification, including women, he buys the service of women, or just because he's rich and powerful, he can attract women will be interested in him for one reason or another. So either just out of attraction or just on a straight cash payment basis, the wealthy man has the opportunity to get involved with women, more than one woman at once, as he likes. He'll have his wife, he'll have his mistress, or a king, he'll have 2 queens, 4 queens, 20 queens. That's also there. So yes, when there's greater wealth, then women and intoxicants, wine or whatever your choice of intoxicant may be. So that on the whole, wealth is also considered a disadvantage for spiritual progress. Therefore, it's not that the sannyasi renounces this world, but keeps all sorts of material things. Why does he renounce? The main thing is he's renouncing a woman, but then he renounces wealth also. Goswamis were wealthy, at least Rup, Sanatan, Raghunath. They were wealthy men, but they gave it up. Why didn't they just continue? Okay, we have this wealth, we'll use it all for Krishna. Dovetail it. Well, so they gave it up. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Mahasi, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy. Oh, Sanatana Swami has come. he's given up this world. But he saw that he's wearing a rather fancy chadar. His brother-in-law had given him not fancy, but good quality, nice chadar. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was looking at the chadar. Sanatana Goswami can understand.
Really?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't approve. I've taken sannyas, given up this world, and still I'm keeping it. So he went to the ghat and traded it in. He gave to some other person. Please, can I take your old wrapper, and I'll give you this new one. And the man thought, this guy's joking with me. No, I'm not joking with you. Please take it. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that this is going on, then saw that Sanatana Goswami had given up that child. Yes, now he was pleased. There's a comment, someone's not muted. We're downstairs from someone, so there's two conversations going on, one upstairs and this one downstairs. So that's what's going on.
Maharaj, it's time for now. Is someone there that can lead the closing kirtan, please?
The time has come already. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we'll finish the purport next time around. Yes, who wants to speak?
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajacharya Ashtotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Mukund Radha Kundagiri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Jamunamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Gaur Premanande.
Hare Hare.
Thank you to all. We continue with our Bhagavatam class tomorrow. His Holiness Jayādvaita Maharaj Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hare Hare.
Thank you all very much. Jai.